Sears tames the D-shaped Dirt Demon. Drelos picks up the biggest win of his career at the Bowl. We take a look inside the Dirt Car Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Time to get up. Whoops. Let's pump the brakes a little bit. Either way, we're going green. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Race Pro Weekly. I'm your host, Mike Warren. The big blocks out at the Brewers and Speedway taking a Friday night off to make way for the small block Super Dirt Car Series. Let's head to the D-shaped Dirt Demon now for our opening highlight brought to you by Landho Maintenance. We'll start with some sportsman action in this one as a little bit of trouble into turn number 1 and 2 as some bumper tag leads to a couple cars going around, but it sets up an epic finish as Jeff Taylor and Zach Sabaka going to come to the flag stand. It's too close to call. Can I get a freeze frame? Sabaka at the line and not by much. To the small block modified feature event, 100 laps the distance. It would be the 83 at Tim Sears Jr. going to take the early race lead, but it wouldn't be long as Larry White going to move into the number 2 spot, getting by the 28 Zed and Gary Lindbergh up off of turn number 4, as White would go to the front, working it up off the outside lane, and he would be your race leader very early in this contest. Sears would try to battle back on the inside, trying to get him each and every lap on the bottom, as Lindbergh would try to work his way up. Rocky Warner with a strong top 5 run in the early going as Lindbergh tries to slide back up in front of the 83 of Sears, but Sears going to come back as the caution comes out for Roy Bresnahan. Off the restart, here's Larry White going to try to slide up in front of him, but the crossover move, he gets him up off of turn number 2 as Sears goes back to the front and starts to pull away from the 99L machine. Rocky Warner trying to hold off Jimmy Phelps down the back straightaway as they race with Matt Williamson for position in the turn number 3 and 4. Williamson going to be the benefactor of that one as Rocky way up on the top looking for a big run in small block competition. But it's all behind Tim Sears Jr. who picks up the small block feature event. Larry White would finish in second. Gary Lindbergh would come home third. RD3 would finish in fourth and Matt Williamson would be fifth. Sportsman number 1 would go to Mark Yorker. Sportsman number 2 to Zach Sabaka. Justin Williams in the mod lights and the 4 cylinders to Quinn Wallace. The Northeast Dirt Modified Hall of Fame had their inductions last week. And the first one, of course, the 115 of Kenny Tremont is the Sand Lake Slingshot going in. The all-time winningest driver at the Valley of Speed, there with his dad, Big Ken, as well. Brian Schwartzlander also going in, 4-time champion out at the Tri-City Speedway in his career. Then Bob Russell going in as the Pioneer driver and builder, makes his way into the Hall of Fame also this season. Don and Joanne Davies going in for the Andrew S. Fusco Award for Media Excellence this year in 2018. Maynard Troyer also being inducted as he had the award being accepted by his son Ken for the Great Car Builder. Also Ray Bramall, he owned the cars of Danny Johnson and Brett Hearn in that Freightliner machine. As well, Linda Costco getting the Outstanding Award for Women in Racing. And Gary Spade also getting an award as well, the Leonard J. Sammons Jr. Award for Outstanding Contributions to Auto Racing. And look, there's that Troyer 4-link from 1999 we're all familiar with Tremont. A great night had by all. It's now time for this week's John Ray and Sons fan poll question, which is, with the Hall of Fame inductions last week, who do you think is the next driver that should be put in? To cast your answer, head to facebook.com/RaceProWeekly, and we'll read the answers on next week's show. Let's take a look at last week's question. With the Jack running Wednesday, before the rains came that is, at Fonda, what other drivers should have a race named after them? Well, here's some of the answers. We had the Legend for Lou Lazaro, the Farmer for Bill Wimble, the Kid for Dave Lape, the Shoe for Kenny Shoemaker. One of my favorite ones, though, the Corellis Clash at Lebanon Valley. No doubt that'd be electrifying. Coming up on RPW, we'll head to the Devil's Bowl Speedway for some King of Dirt small block action, and then head to the high banks of the Valley of Speed to see who won this past Saturday. Keep it locked right here on RPW.
You know, Mother Nature makes the best products, and Ghent Wood Products in Columbia County has figured out the secret. We use locally harvested trees, milled and kiln-dried right on site in Ghent. We stock rough-cut lumber, green or kiln-dried. If you prefer finished products, we offer that too, including shiplap, flooring, paneling, exterior siding, and tabletops. Come check out the reclaimed mushroom wood and barnwood siding. We combine the mill experience with a retail store, so you can go straight to the mill and handpick the wood you want.
Hi, I'm Eric Pope, General Manager of John Ray & Sons. We're proud to be offering Bryant heating and air conditioning systems. Just like us, Bryant has been delivering home comfort solutions for more than a century.
Call today for a free consultation and save up to $875 with Bryant bonus rebates.
I'm Michael Laporte, Service Manager. From sales to service, our goal is to keep you comfortable, whatever it takes. Ductless AC is a perfect solution for homes without ductwork, new additions, or anywhere you need cool relief.
Call or visit johnray.com today.
There's only one place in the capital region for you to get the full racing action. Stop down at the Bobco video booth at the track or call 518-399-0937. Bobco Racing Video, the next best thing to being there. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly, King of Dirt 358 Modifieds for the C.J. Richards Memorial, going 67 laps as Jeremy Wilder and Mark Johnson going to lead the field to the green, and it wouldn't be long until Bobby Varon would be trying to make his way up, trying to double up on the season on a series. Out at Devil's Bowl, he'd roll underneath the 22J of Wilder to look to take the number one spot away. Wouldn't be long till the Palmer Service Center car does it, as he would be in the number one spot. The 111 and the 1J, Demetrius Drelis and Rocky Warner battling side by side, and I got a feeling that's going to happen for a while in this event. Kenny Tremont trying to work his way up through, as behind them, Matt Papello goes around and cars just pile in. Jack Lehner ending up upside down. A tough break for the Ginger Ninja here, as that would end his night along with a bunch of other guys. Jesse Mueller, who really has his small block program getting together on the bottom side, going to sneak by Drelis per position as Drelis tries to get by Floyd Billington up off at turn number 2 to hold on to another position here, working their way up through the top 5. Meanwhile, Rocky Warner looking to take the number 2 spot away from the number 22 of Jeremy Wilder down the front straightaway as they battle and close in on the Palmer Service Center, car number 76, Machine of Aaron. Wilder going to try to go to the inside, but Varon shuts the door up off at turn number 4. Wilder looked like he has something going down as he starts to lose a number of positions. A tough break for that Riley's Mortuary entry. Field continuing to work through as Drelis works his way up into the number 2 spot. He'll get by Rocky Warner as now Green and Mark Johnson go side by side, but now a battle for the lead as a tire starts to go down on that 76 of Bobby Varon as Drelis will get by him for the number 1 spot. Green a little out of shape. He makes contact with C.G. Morey going down the back straightaway as he would come to a stop on the back stretch as well. And then off the restart, Rocky Warner and Mark Johnson come together, sending the 3J all the way to the pit entrance, bringing out the caution once again. It would be a single file restart this time as Brett Haas working his way up into the top 5, but now Bobby Varon and Rocky Warner fighting for the number 2 spot as the Squirrel looking to fly right around him up on the outside as the caution will come out again for the 3J of Mark Johnson. Off the restart, here's Warner looking to make a move on the outside lane, trying to make it stick, but Drelis going to keep it low to the bottom here with just 7 laps remaining, and C.G. Morey working his way up into spot number 3. Field going to work its way down into turn number 3 and 4 as Warner going to try to sweep around the outside of him up off the corner. He tried to close in on him here as Warner going to hit the rut that time up off by turn number 2. That's going to allow the 111 to pull away, and he would go on to win the C.J. Richards Memorial. The Flying Squirrel would having a great run, would have to settle for second. Bobby Varon would come home third. C.G. Morey fourth, and Kenny Tremont would finish in fifth. Other winners on the night, Travis Billington grabbing the win in the Limited Sportsman. The Super Stocks going to Scott Fitzgerald. And the man they call the Snarf, Caleb Shepard, picking up the win in the Mini Stocks. To the high banks of the Valley of Speed, we'll start you off with some sportsman action as Michael Sabia going to go around off at turn number 2. John Virgilio nowhere to go, and another car just says, how you doing? It's coming in here, and that is the fastest I've ever seen Sabia run. Trust me on that one. The Maynard Ferret Memorial for the Big Block Modifieds. It would be the 35 of the Outlaw, L.J. Lombardo, leading him up into turn number 1 and 2 in the early going of this one. Kyle Armstrong, a battle of 2 Kyles actually, going to battle with a throwback paint scheme on Shelvin Oil Night for Kyle Shelvin as he works at 629 up on the outside lane. Car still driving for position early. 3 of the Titans here in the Big Block Modifieds going to roll their way into turn number 3 and 4 as Andy Bacchetti tries to get by the 74 of J.R. Hefner. Then you got the 2 RJ and Ronnie Johnson working up on the inside lane as well as the caution will come out for Josh Marcus in the 42. Off the restart, it would be the 35 machine of Lombardo back out in front, but here comes the Rocket. Going to blast off into spot number 2, and behind them, Kenny Tremont trying to duck past Bacchetti on the inside lane up off at turn number 4 as they fight for position. Meanwhile, around the halfway point, Keith Flack starting to reel in the 35 of Lombardo, and with about 10 to go, he'd get a great shot at him on the bottom, but Lombardo way up on the top, a little bit too strong as he keep it rolling. Kenny Tremont trying to work past the 74 of J.R. Hefner as they battle in the top 5 for position in the closing stages of this feature event. Tremont would sneak by him up off at turn number 4, but Hefner trying to battle right back would get him at the line as they work it up into turn number 1 and 2. Here's the 115 again, going to battle to the inside of that number 74 machine as these two veterans go at it up off at turn number 4. Hefner just a little bit strong that time, but the battle for the front continuing. One last shot for Keith Black up off at turn number 2, but the 35 going to drive away as LJ Lombardo going to grab win number 2 with the 2018 season. Flack would settle for second, Kyle Sheldon coming home third, J.R. Hefner winning that battle finishing fourth, and Kenny Tremont would round out the top 5. When we come back, small block action out at the Fulton Speedway, and then we go to the Great Race Place to see what they got in before Mother Nature wreaked havoc.
Spring is finally here and the temperatures are rising and the deals are hotter than ever. Hi, I'm Charlie Morris of Morris Ford in Burnt Hills. You have to come in for the hottest cars, trucks, and SUVs on the market today here at Morris Ford, all with leading technology and advanced safety. With thousands off and low payments, there's never been a better time to buy a new Ford. So come in to Morris Ford and let us show you why we've been selling cars in the Capital District for over 46 years.
Our Presbyterian Morris will always be number 1.
Reputable, reliable, results. That's what you get when you call Rick and the professionals at RCT Roofing. Quality service at fair prices. RCT gets the job done. Just like Nick Stone and the RCT Pro Stock. RCT Roofing, we've got you covered. Welcome back to RPW as we move to the Fulton Speedway, and check this out. Scott Prentice looking for his first win in a while after coming back to racing, and he's going to get it in sportsman competition as he picks up the win. He's a happy man. Of course, anytime you get to talk to Bill Foley, it's always a good night. Here comes the feature event for the small blocks as Billy Whitaker going to take the early lead up into turn number 1 and 2. RD3 right there for second. Larry White trying to fight his way up along with Bobby Harrington on the inside lane, trying to make their move up through the field. Whitaker and Tom Sears would battle for the number 1 spot in heavy, and I mean heavy, lap traffic up through this one. Then RD3 would enter the fray, and watch this move by RD3. He's going to try to split the middle up into turn number 3 and 4 with lap cars all around. And now the slider going to come from Whitaker on Sears, but the 32 of RD3 going to take advantage and nose out ahead. Whitaker would look to come back in on the inside lane along with Sears as they power down the front straightaway, but as they go down the backstretch, this is when trouble would ensue. Sears gets into the quarter panel of the 109 machine, sending him around. That's all RD3 needed as he would drive away for the win in the 358 Modifieds at Fulton. Tom Sears would finish in second, Larry White would come home third, Jordan McCready would finish in fourth, and Pat Ward would finish in spot number 5. As you saw, Scott Prentice picking up the win in the Sportsman number 1, Greg Dowston Sportsman number 2, late models to Chris Fleming, Matt Becker in the Novice Sportsman, and the Mod Lights to Doug Williams. To the Great Race Place we go. Modified heat race action as Ray Hoare going to go around battling for the lead. Chris Vernal nowhere to go. He's going to get hit a little bit. Keith Flack going to come in there as well. That's all the modifieds would get in as they would have to reschedule their feature event. We move to the Sportsman. 25 laps the distance as the field going to work its way up into turn number 1 and 2. Nick Lucier going to take the lead from Freddie Proctor down the back straightaway as they would fight for position down into turn number 3 and 4. Cars on the move early in this event. As you can see, Tim Hartman Jr. trying to work his way underneath that number 26 of Jim Osgood for position. Meanwhile, Lucier hounded throughout this entire race by the 00 of Jason Gray as he would continue to work it up on the top lane as the caution would come out. Osgood involved Robert Bublak in there as well, along with the 06 of Mike Coffey. Off the restarted would be Lucier back out in front. Now enter into the picture the 234 of Adam McAuliffe working his way down the backstretch as they would continue to fight for position. Joey Scarborough working it up on the top side, trying to get by early race leader Freddie Proctor. as now Jason Gray and McAuliffe still start to draw in on the 3 of Lucier up off of turn number 4. Caution comes out for John St. Germain Jr., which would set up a restart once again, and this time Jason Gray going to try to drive it up on the long way around the racetrack up off of turn number 2. Couldn't make it stick that time either as we move toward the closing stages of this one. Cars still trying to work their way up through the field. Scott Dole working the top side. Then he moved to the inside to try to get by the 27 of Jeremy Pitts. Meanwhile, here's Gray on the inside lane trying to work it up a little bit more off the corner. McAuliffe trying to get past him for the number 2 spot into turn number 3 and 4, but eventually Gray would find the momentum around the outside to get by Nick Lucier for the number 1 position, and that's all he was going to need in this feature event. Lucier trying to hold off McAuliffe in the closing stages with a hard-charging Connor Cleveland right behind him. But as I mentioned before, Jason Gray going to pick up win number 3 on the season. Nick Lucier would finish in spot number 2. Adam McAuliffe would come home 3rd. Connor Cleveland 4th. And Jake Scarborough would round out the top 5. Other winners on the night, Limited Sportsman would go to Derek McGrew, and Al Relier would pick up the win in the street stocks. Modifieds and pro stocks, unfortunately, Mother Nature threw a curveball into the plans last Friday, and they will have to get those features made up. When we come back here on Race Pro Weekly, we'll head to the Can-Am Speedway, and we'll go back to the Valley for some small block action. We'll be right back. Performance, quality, service. That's DMC Racing Products. Hundreds of name brand parts, competitive prices. That's DMC. DMC Racing Products. Race to win. If you are a tracker series that would like to be highlighted on Race Pro Weekly, email us at show@raceproweekly.com. Welcome back to Race Pro Weekly. Sportsman action from Can-Am, and not a good start in this one as caution-filled early portion of the event. As you can see, another one here as Anthony Stockman with a lot of damage on that machine. Addison Bowman going to drive away in the number 12 machine as well. But once we get going, this was a pretty good race, and trust me on this one, you're going to like how this one ends. Field working its way up into a very racy Can-Am surface here in the early going, as working on the bottom is Andrew Wren trying to push his way up through the field as Joel Hall is your early race leader in this Sportsman feature event. Cars still looking to work their way up, including Jessica Power, the Kingston, Ontario native, trying to fight through and pick up a couple of positions. Here's Chris Thurston on the bottom, but Wren up on the top side, looking to take that number 2 spot away up off a turn number 3 and 4 this time, as Wren going to look to make it stick off the corner. He get by Joel Hall for the race lead, or at least try to, as they come side by side with a number of cars pushing behind him. Wren still working it down on the outside lane to try to get by Hall as they work their way down the back straightaway. He would pull that off. Jack Meeks in the fray as well as they fight toward the front. Meeks up to spot number 3 as he's working that outside line as well. Before you know it, though, here's Jessica Power making a power move, no pun intended, into the number 3 spot as they work it down into turn number 1 and 2. She'd be looking for the race lead. Wren and Hall continuing their battle. Power finds a lane on the bottom. She just goes right by them like they're standing still, going into turn number 3 and 4, and that was all she needed as Jessica Power picks up a big win in sportsman competition at Can-Am. Andrew Wren would finish in 2nd. Joe Hall will come home 3rd. Jack Meeks 4th, and Josh Rayome would round out the top 5. Pro Streets would go to Sid Harmer Jr., Phil DeSorma the 3rd in the Thunderstocks. Rookie sportsman to Justin Neer, and Charlie Sandercock with the win in the late models. Small block modified feature from Lebanon Valley would see the 88 Junior of Olden Dwyer going to take the early race lead in this 24-lap feature event, with a lot of the big guns looking to get toward the front early. Here is the 13 of Frank Horde, the 3rd, working his way up, trying to get by the 7 of Timothy Davis going into turn number 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Andy Bacchetti trying to work his way up in the 17 machine. He would sneak by a couple of cars in the early going as the caution would come out for the 83 of Chad Pierce. Off of the restart, Dwyer would retake control of this one as Kenny Tremont and J.R. Hefner trying to mount their challenge toward the front of the field, as Andy Bacchetti would be on the move as well as he would move past one car into turn number 3 and 4, getting by Frank Harper, and then continuing to work his way past Frank Horde the 3rd on the inside lane, and then go to work on Timothy Davis. Wouldn't be long before we get him and move into spot number 3 as the Wild Child trying to mount a challenge now as he's moving up through the field. Kenny Tremont looking to follow on that outside lane as he'd work past another car as J.R. Hefner would enter into the fray. He's into the number 4 spot as now the 17 of Becchetti going to work on Brian Peterson up off of turn number 4. The battle for second would rage on as Becchetti would get by him up off of turn number 2 and set his sights on your race leader after he clears him. Here's the big lead between Olden Dwyer and Andy Becchetti, but if you've seen Andy Becchetti drive a small block, yeah, you know what's coming. Andy Becchetti closing in rapidly like a fishing pole with the hook on the back bumper of Dwyer as he closed to about 5 car lanes. Took a great shot at him with about 3 to go, but Dwyer just too strong on the outside lane. Becchetti not going away, though, as he's going to try to work the inside lane. He'll follow his tracks that time and then try to make a move to the bottom. Here he is on the final lap, driving it a little bit too deep, slips up the banking, and that allows Dwyer to get away up off of turn number 2. He'd bring it home for his first win in small block competition in 2018. Second would be the Wild Child. J.R. Hefner would have to settle for 3rd. Kenny Tremont would come home 4th, and Brian Peterson would finish in 5th. Other winners on the night, Rob Maxing in the Sportsman, Pro Stocks going to Chuck Dowsley, Clifford Booth picking up the win in Pure Stock 1, and Dom Denyu with the win in Pure Stock 2. It's now time for this week's NISCO Performer of the Week, and with his first career King of Dirt Series win at Devil's Bowl, it goes to the 111 of Demetrius Trullos. Trullos is now eligible for the Performer of the Year award given out at the end of the season. That's all for this week's show. For the latest news, results, and photos, check out Race Pro Weekly online at www.raceproweekly.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So for myself, Bobby Chalmers, Fast Eddie, Scott Morlock, Amber Chalmers, and everyone that helps put Race Pro Weekly together, thank you for watching this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.